In Campbelltown, Stephen and the King aircrew are getting ready to fly back to Glasgow with 8-year-old Beattie, who has suspected appendicitis.
Right, we're leaving. We will be about 20 minutes back.
Is Coo okay?
Yeah.
I probably think we'll need an amber call for this wee lady.
Dad, what's an amber call?
Don't know.
It's what we will use for the ambulance. We can tell if people are, like, not so sick, or a big bit sick, or really sick. So the amber one's in the middle, because you're quite sick and we need you to be looked at by a doctor. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Good. Children are great judges of character, so you need to tell them what you're doing, tell them who you are, and try and build a bit of rapport with them. Appendicitis can be a serious problem, and he probably knows that himself. You're wanting to reassure him that at that particular time you're the best person to look after his daughter. It's one less stress in his life that he needs to worry about, that he's got trust and faith in what you can do for his daughter. Don't worry, all right? The biggest thing you should worry about is throwing up on this aircraft, okay? That's fine.
I feel quite sick and I don't...
Yeah, but that's probably just the motion of the motion of the plane, darling.
The past few years have been particularly difficult for Jess and his family.
You know, sometimes in life you think that you've cracked life and you know, couldn't believe it. And then just one Tuesday evening, we all watched a film together, and, you know, it's one of those cases where sometimes life can change in a breath. We watched the film and my wife said that she would go up and take the children to bed, and then within 3 or 4 minutes I heard a commotion from upstairs, and I thought that Vicky was mucking about with the children because we were always playing around, and then I heard my eldest daughter, Gwynnie, I heard her say, "Oh, Mummy, get up, you're frightening us." And then I ran up the stairs and Vicky had collapsed, and we called the ambulance and I was doing CPR, and I mean, now I realise that Vicky had passed.
He's just lost his wife. He's still grieving for her. And now he's got a sick kid. You know, having a family of your own, you can't help but sort of put yourself in that position. There was a lot going on for him, and I think he was still processing a lot of grief while trying to look after the family.
You know, you have the normal highs and lows and the challenges in life and that, but then sometimes you can have things which they kind of really exceed that.
Since her mother's death, Beattie's found comfort in an ever-present companion.
Coo is like it's what we call a magical animal. So we have, you know, and since Mum died and everything, Coo goes everywhere with Beattie.
You know what the next thing's going to be when she gets a bit older, don't you?
It could be a horse.
No, you're going to have to buy her a Highland cow.
I'm a bit scared of cows. So, you know, it's a bit, but this one is fine.
Beattie, we're nearly in Glasgow.
It's fast, this plane, isn't it? You're going to feel us go boop, boop in a minute and we're going to land, aren't we?
Fortunately, Beattie's condition hasn't worsened on the journey, but she's still very poorly and in need of specialist care.
That's okay.
Are you still feeling sick? Yeah. So if you sit tight for a few minutes, I'm going to run away and make sure there's somebody there to take Beattie onwards. Right, Beattie, you come. You want me to hold Coo? After we land, the ambulance crew will then take over the care on the transfer over to the Children's Hospital in Glasgow. So they will go straight to the ward and then the children's doctors will take over care. This blanket's better than your blanket.
Is it?
This is
that warmer, maybe?
Well, it is because...
Special lane one, is it?
No, it's a Campbelltown one.
Who are you? Who's this you've got with you?
That's Coo.
Coo.
This is Dad. You're welcome. Listen, all the best. And I might see you on the way back. Who knows? Probably one of the best things I've ever done is becoming a paramedic. I've learned an awful lot, but I think I've learned mostly that the people in the Highlands and the Highlands of Scotland are very resilient. You know, they put up with a lot and they got on with a lot. Yeah, it's opened my eyes to life.
So I remember it was the weekend. We were in the bedroom and she said to me that she had abdominal pain. And then funnily enough, Big Sister said, oh, she's got appendicitis. She's got appendicitis. I said, no, she won't have appendicitis.
You were proved wrong later.
I was proved well wrong, yeah. How was you feeling when you was in the air, Beattie, on the aeroplane?
Honestly, I don't really remember because I was barely awake during the plane. I was mostly asleep.
It was kind of surreal in a way because, 3 years ago, Vicky, my wife, she collapsed at home with a cardiac arrest and she was flown by air ambulance to Glasgow. So there's that kind of wondering, it's kind of, oh no, not again. Beattie, how are you doing since the operation, would you say?
Very, very good. It took at least 3 weeks to get a little bit of my flexibility back.
She was so resilient because that's the kind of little person she is.